Folks, once again, my friend AC Transit Board Director at Large, Christian Peoples, who's running for re-election, I might add, so I'm ordering you to vote for him. You have to.
Good idea.
I think it's a great idea. And because you've only been on the board since 1997, right?
Right. Only 18 years.
Very effective. Extremely effective.
At least I know where the bathroom is.
And where the bodies are buried.
Yes.
Or maybe in this province, I should say maybe where the buses are buried.
Yes.
But at any rate, give us an update. How is AC Transit doing April 4th, 2016?
AC Transit's actually doing pretty well. Like most transit agencies, we go up and down with the economy. Luckily, the economy is doing well. So our sales tax and property tax are doing pretty well. We only get about 18% through the fare box. So that sales tax and property tax is really important for us.
Explain to the layperson what that means.
What that means is to operate the system, to buy the diesel fuel, to pay the operator, to pay the PG&E bill at 1600 Franklin Street. Only about 18% of that money comes in through the fare box, either in terms of people putting money in the fare box or people buying monthly passes.
Wow, 18%.
Yep.
Has it been that way for some time, or
it's been that way for a while? It's been going down since we started in 1960. We are not that far off of other transit agencies our size. Muni does a little better, because if the last time you've been on a Muni bus, they're all packed to the gills 24 hours a day. There are some more suburban and rural areas that do worse. Their costs are less, but their ridership is dramatically less. We're the second least expensive per rider of the major transit agencies in the Bay Area. And that largely has to do with how much we fill up our buses.
I'm curious, there was an effort to form buses as rapid transit.
Right.
Where are we with that?
We let the final construction contract about 30 days ago. Construction should start in about a month. Should be finished by the end of this year. I think probably more likely in the middle of next year.
Now tell my readers, or my viewers rather, what that calls for.
What a bus rapid transit tries to do is basically rail on rubber tires. So you give the bus its own lane without having to dodge in and out of cars and all that stuff. You have boarding where there's a station where you board where the height of the curb is the same as the height of the bus.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get in and out. You pay your fare before you get on the bus. So either you use a Clipper card or you buy something from a machine, so the driver isn't delayed by people trying to fumble for dollars and quarters to put them in. The buses control the stoplights. So the stoplights are programmed so that the buses can go through fairly quickly. Originally, we were going to go all the way from San Leandro to Berkeley. Now it's only going to go from 20th and Broadway in Oakland down to San Leandro BART station. But that's a project that we hope will be very successful. It's going to lead to a great deal of redevelopment along International. There's obviously some people that are concerned about gentrification with that, and we've tried to work with them and tried to work with some of the original businesses, some of the existing businesses. Going to be a great deal of improvement in terms of pedestrian lighting, in terms of being all kinds of push buttons to control the stoplight so you can get across the street easily. But it's a $178 million project. Only came in about $13 million over budget, which that's not bad.
No, not bad at all. It's razor thin.
Yeah. It still means we got to go find $13 million, but I think we're going to succeed in that.
Now, tell my viewers about the relationship between AC Transit and BART, specifically with respect to the midnight to early morning travel. How has that changed? How has that
Well, the relationship between AC Transit and BART has improved dramatically. BART.
Wait, it was bad? What happened? Tell me. What happened?
BART, under a former general manager and some former directors, very hostile to AC Transit, tried to get us to cut all our Transbay service, was, just very hostile. A couple of new directors got elected. Robert Rayburn and Rebecca Salzman works with us very closely. As does the current board president. I'm blanking on his name, from San Francisco. And I set up a long time ago a joint AC Transit BART Board of Directors committee. It disappeared for a while, but for the past 3 or 4 years it's been meeting very actively. We meet quarterly. We work with all kinds of issues together. We're cooperating on a whole bunch of stuff. BART has really figured out that we can relieve congestion on this side of the hill. That by the time a Pittsburgh Bay Point train gets to Rockridge, there are times when you can't even get on.
Right.
Say nothing of ever getting a seat.
Right.
Well, they're seeing our Transbay service as being very useful. They've had a certain amount of pressure to provide 24-hour service, which they can't do because they need to do maintenance and repair. And to do maintenance and repair, that 1,000-volt rail has got to be de-energized. And if the 1,000-volt rail is de-energized, nothing can move. So they've got a pretty minimal time. They've got a 4-hour window where they do their repairs. So they are now paying
That's not
us.
a lot of time.
Not a lot of time.
Right.
They're now paying us to provide bus service. And we've experimented with a number of things. For a while, we were going all the way out to Pittsburgh Bay Point with the 822 line. That was not a success. We were averaging 3 people per bus.
Wow.
And I have a general rule that I call the Crown Vic rule. If you can run the route with a Crown Victoria, you should not be running a 40-foot bus. And so we've agreed to stop that, but we're taking the hours that were used in that and increasing the service to the Interbay. And they're trying to work with their paratransit provider and a couple of other possibilities to figure out how they can provide that relatively low usage service all the way out to the end of the line. Joel Keller, who represents out there, is quite eager to do that.
Now, what should we watch for in the future?
Well, next year we're getting 20 double-decker buses.
Wow.
And
Double-decker?
Double-deckers.
Not like the tourist kind.
Not like the tourist kind. They're closed on top.
Whoa.
We experimented with one for a month and got very positive reviews on it. And so it'll be used primarily on Transbay routes.
Yeah.
Because our lawyers...
At night?
No, not at night.
Oh, why not? That'd be cool.
No, it would not be cool.
It'd piss off Bart because everybody wanted to ride AC trucks.
It would not be cool.
Oh.
You would not like to know what would go on in the upstairs of a double-decker bus at 3 o'clock in the morning with
Wait, where's your head? Come on.
With everybody drunk out of their minds.
Oh my God, that was, wait. He said it, folks.
No, but we'll run it on some of the lines where they have a fairly long run on the freeway and where there's not a lot of trees. So, for example, the U line that runs from Fremont BART to Stanford Quad, that's a natural for a double-decker. We're running MCIs on it now, like big Greyhound type buses. They seat 57. We got standing loads on MCIs. They're not made for standees. Very narrow aisle. Standees are a bad idea on an MCI. The double-deckers seat 80. So we'll run them on there. Some of the NXs.
That's the Transbay.
It's a Transbay. It basically runs down MacArthur for a while, then cuts off, gets onto 580.
Yeah.
Perhaps the LA, coming out of Richmond Park and Ride. But basically, they're going to be routes that do not have a whole lot of trees do not have any really narrow streets, and spend a lot of time on the freeway. So that's one piece. We currently have a grant proposal in to double the size of our fuel cell fleet, which is already the largest fuel cell fleet in North America. We hope to hear about that very soon. We hear positive noises, but we hope to see that. My hope is that by 2040 we'll have 100% fuel cell buses, but that's me and not AC Transit.
Chris, thanks for the update.
Of course.
Thank you very much.